right here.
Good morning, everyone, or
Hello.
afternoon, where everyone's watching from. You may see some new faces today. So, if you're watching, this is Metrocool's US marketing team. So, if everyone wants to kind of introduce themselves first, can go around. Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex. I've been on here before, but I'm the US social media manager for Metricool. I am in a lot of the tutorial videos if you've seen those. Be here.
You guys have probably seen me too. I'm Aniston. I am a copywriter here at Metrocool and also help tackle all the other avenues of marketing for Metrocool's US team.
I could go. Hello, everyone. I'm Robert. I've done one of these before, so this is my second. I am a marketing assistant at Metrocool, and yeah, I'm excited.
My name is Sophie. This is my first one. I'm excited, and I'm a copywriter for Metrocool.
Amazing. Okay, so we're going to get into it today. We're going to talk about kind of the updates of what's been going on in social media. As you know, most of you guys know, X has been creating a lot of commotion and threads as well. So we're going to kind of talk through all of those changes. And then we're going to talk about Metricool's new features, what's been going on the Metricool side. And then we're going to open it up to some questions and kind of tackle some of the most frequently asked questions that we get here at Metricool. So if you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the chat. And then we'll get to them at the end. So let's get into it. Okay, so obviously a few weeks ago, Twitter's rebrand really kind of shocked all of us with the rebrand to X. So I want to kind of open it up. How has this changed the social landscape? And especially Alex, Robert, more on the social side. What have you seen in terms of X? How are people using X? What are, the conversations? What are people saying about it? Yeah.
Well, honestly, I think that the bigger commotion of Twitter changing to X has more to do with the name than the actual content of, I guess, Twitter/X. Because to me, it seems pretty much the same in terms of content. Like, of course, there are a couple differences and things are starting to be rolled out now that it is fully X. But for the most part, it still kind of has the same vibe. Just now the branding is an X instead of Twitter, which it almost seems a little silly since Twitter has been such a long known name. Everyone loves Twitter. And I mean, there was a lot of backlash in general when the name change happened.
Yeah, I mean, I missed that bluebird already. I mean, I feel like the Twitter already had its foundation. I don't know why it would be such a switch, but I mean, I don't see much of a difference yet. So
Yeah. I think one of the biggest changes too has been more on the algorithmic side and the push for more videos, for live streams, something that is, we're not used to on Twitter or X. So that'll be interesting to see if it will turn more into, how we see Reels so popular and Facebook Reels. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of, lays out.
Yeah, how it comes to life, especially because I mean, there's videos on Twitter now, but I mean, half of the time I don't watch them when I'm scrolling. Maybe sometimes, but it might be stuff I've already seen, on the other short form platforms. So I wonder if it will eventually take off. I think I saw this morning that they're going to make it super easy to download anything from Twitter as well. Like it'll just be like a long press tap and then you can download the video. So it seems like they're really going to push for that video.
Mhm.
I liked it to be different though. I like to like go on my different apps and know what kind of content I was going to see. I like the short funny jokes to brighten your like middle of your day, but now it's going to be video. So I don't know how to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're like pushing it to be the everything app. So
Mhm.
Which I think is just gonna take time in general, just because I mean, like, if you look at, like, how Instagram has evolved, it has taken so long for it to be what it is today, and I guess that can kind of be an everything app because it has so much, so I don't know if it's gonna really happen so quickly.
Yeah. And then I guess another, thing that we've seen this year that's been such a change is subscriptions. And, do brands like, is it necessary for them to pay for the subscription in order to receive some of those exclusive features and the verification? Um, I don't know what you guys think about that.
I think in terms of subscriptions, I feel like it's almost I think it's a little unfair, to make everyone pay for at least, like, in terms of paying for, like, you have to pay to get support, because I feel like
Mhm.
support should be something that is given. I mean, it's your tool, like, or it's your business, it's your brand, you should be able to provide that support so that people can use your product. Um, and like I feel like in that sense it's a little bit unfair. But I can also see how it can be beneficial for people to pay for like verification or for subscriptions. But I almost feel like it also takes away like the novelty, right? Of like being
Yeah.
able to be a big name brand that's verified or a big name creator that's verified. So I feel like I'm like 50-50 on it.
Yeah, especially because a lot of brands kind of started from zero and
Mhm.
worked their way to receive that verification. And then once it changed, they're kind of just,
Yeah.
not given. It's not, yeah, like you said, it's not fair that now it's kind of okay, well, if you want to be verified, then you just have to pay for it. That seems like a little bit
Mhm.
of cop out. So yeah, that part's been really interesting, and especially
Mhm.
too now there's Meta verified, um, which is just another another thing.
yet another.
Yeah. Okay, so now we can kind of move into the other side, the thread side of it all. And once again, how are brands and businesses using threads? Um, is it popular? Is it worth it? It's interesting because it started as such a big, there was so much hype around it, so many signups, the fastest social media network to reach 100 million users. So,
Mhm.
and then now it's had a decline.
Mhm. I mean, I feel like I have a mixed review on threads. Like, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I mean, I could see like brands using threads to their benefit because you kind of could be like unfiltered. You could be funny. You don't have to like specifically advertise your brand in like the way you would on other social media platforms. I mean, I think that's the good thing about it, but I don't know. I really just
Mhm.
am unsure.
I think it's hard too because it's like, we're so, a lot of us grew up with a lot of these platforms. We're so used to like Twitter, honestly, like that's all we've ever known. So to put a whole new platform like in front of us, even though it took off so quickly, like it, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't have like the same trajectory as like, a TikTok did, where like, maybe it didn't grow as quickly as Threads did, but everyone's on TikTok these days. So it, I don't know. I think that they're going to have to figure out how to make it similar enough to where we want to use it over like an X, but also bring in something new so that we're even tempted to open the platform. Because it was really popular the first few days. I mean, and I'm sure it still is, but it definitely has seen like a significant decline, even with like the whole like vibe of it being the early days of social media where it's unfiltered, it's raw, it's not so much ads and hashtags and all those things.
I think people are afraid of missing out too, which is why everybody was like, I need to download it. And then I think I did the exact same thing. I downloaded it, I scrolled a little bit, and I was like, okay, I'm good for a little bit, until
Definitely.
something crazy comes up again and I have to go back on. So
Mhm.
I think the fact that there's no private messaging is a big limitation because it takes away from that, those more intimate, personal, funny conversations that you can have with your friends or your coworkers or whatever, in the way that you would send people content on Twitter or on Instagram. So it'll be interesting to see if they add private messaging like that, or if it's just going to stick to how it is where you can send things through Instagram DMs.
I think they would benefit from having some sort of like private conversation because, I mean, like, yeah, like I can like a thread, but if I want to send it to someone, sometimes it's like so much easier that I don't necessarily want to send to the whole world or like repost it. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah. And the biggest question, do we think this platform will last ultimately?
I mean, I think they need to do a lot more with it. I think a lot of updates need to be made. New features. They need a desktop version, I think. I don't know. I feel like there's too much. I feel like Twitter is just like the big kind of text-based app. I don't really know if there's competition there.
Yeah, I think it's going to last, but I don't know how successful it's going to be, at least for a good while. And the only reason that I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt is because it's Instagram, and Instagram has managed to make everything last so far. But I do agree with Robert that I think it needs to not be in its like 1.0 version. It needs to have a bunch of things added to it to really make it, I guess, like worth it for people.
And it's starting with like a foundation of you being able to bring your followers from a prior app, I think was helpful for them, rather than like starting fresh on a brand new app that you don't know much about.
Definitely. So we have a question from Catherine right here. She said, are any of you social media managers? Which Alex is our social media manager. But yeah, maybe we could pull up Metricool and jump into the analytics and see, honestly, our content performance in, I mean, obviously we don't have those access to threads on our platform, but maybe we could pull up our Twitter content and see if it's changed or any differences that you've noticed.
Do you want to pull it up or you want me to pull it up?
Yeah, if you don't mind pulling it up.
Yeah, I'll go to analytics right now. Over the last month, does that sound good? Maybe
Yeah,
the last,
yeah.
Okay. Let's do the last 30 days.
Yeah, maybe our top posts.
Yeah, well, I was just going to show growth real quick and then we can go to top posts. So, I mean, our growth has been honestly pretty consistent even within the change. I mean, I think we've been on top of like making sure that we stay updated with what is happening with X, and even with like the naming conventions. As you can see, we already have the logo on the website. But we've still seen like significant growth. We've also, like with our top posts, if I scroll down, do like the top 50. We're seeing like the most success with our hashtag tracker. That's what a lot of these are. And that's working really well for us. And even like, we do, Robert does social media rundowns, and those are also really helpful too, because information is still being spread on Twitter or X the way it was before. It's just people are deciding if they want to stay on the platform or leave the platform.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So shall we get into Metricool updates?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the last few weeks, one of our biggest updates has been adding saved text in our planner and our auto list. So basically with this, the idea is that if you use, reoccurring text for replies or for promotional blurbs or responding to questions, then you can have these saved texts in kind of your own library, which you can pull from at any time. So if we want to kind of pull up Metricool again and show it.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go to our planner and then I'll show it. I already made a couple of saved texts just so that it would be simple to show. So this is our planner. And then all you need to do is you can actually click into any post. And you'll see here there is a new little icon down here. It says new, but it's kind of like a little saved folder. You're going to click into that. And then from here, you can create those saved texts. So I have two examples. I have a caption template and a hashtag bundle. I know that this feature will be super helpful for a lot of social media managers who almost always input, hashtags or keywords into a lot of their posts. So this is really great for you to save. So it's really easy to make one. You just hit the plus sign and you put in a title. So whatever it's going to be, if it's the hashtag bundles, if it's a template, if it's, a CTA you really like to use or a hook, you can put in tags. So for tags, it could be hashtags or promo, things like that. And then, the description is going to be what you want it to say. And then you also have the option to save it for all your brands. But what we mean by this is if you have multiple brands associated in your Metrocool account. So for example, for us, we have all of the different, countries associated. So if I wanted one hashtag bundle that I wanted to share across to all of the accounts, I could toggle this on and then that would save it for all the brands. So if I go back over here, this is what it'll look like once you have them saved. And you can also search your different saved texts as well as, just search by hashtags or by templates, whatever your tags that you have saved in. So if I just wanted to do templates and I wanted to, start off my caption with this template and then modify it, I could just click into it and it'll add it. I'm adding it into a post that's already ready, but see, it already added it there. So it's super easy to use. And you can use it many different ways. And if you wanted to, you could even create one of these and, distribute it across to all of your different brands. They're also super easy to modify. So let's say, you've decided you want to update your caption template. You can go in, modify it, hit save, and you can delete them and add as many as you please. So that is a quick rundown on saved texts. Again, everyone's going to use this differently, but we're probably more than likely going to use it for like our CTAs and for our hashtag bundles.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then, it works the same exact way in our auto list too. So for content that's, reoccurring content, you can add and find those saved texts within there. So once again, this would be useful for things like hashtags, for CTAs, for any, text that you use on a regular basis. Okay, Stephanie asks, is this template triggered by hashtags someone uses in their comment? No, this is just text and any copy that you use as a brand on a regular basis. And it's not triggered by any other hashtags or any other comments. It would just be on kind of the internal side of building it yourself.
Yeah. What you could do though is, let's say, you're doing your hashtag research or you have, specific branded hashtags that you use every single time. You can save those in your save text and then add it to every single post super easily. You can also use our hashtag search engine to help you populate those hashtag bundles and, use those in the save text as well. So it's just really like an easier way for you to streamline so that, you're not necessarily having to type out your hashtags every time, or if you're building posts off of a specific template, you have it pre-built in there for you. So just a way kind of to make your life a little bit easier as a social media manager, or if you, do all the social content yourself.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, I was also gonna we're gonna send in the comments a little promotion for, we have a section in our blog that is our social media blast. So it's where we update all the new social media news that's coming out. So if you guys want to stay kind of up to date with all the new features of the different social networks, you can read our blog content there. So if we drop that in the chat. I also forgot to go over new features that are happening other platforms besides X and Threads, like YouTube Shorts. I know that there's been a bunch of new features in YouTube Shorts. And as we, had a webinar with Google a few days ago, it was interesting to hear their side of it and how insanely popular and how many users are flocking to YouTube Shorts, which personally I think is surprising because I don't use YouTube Shorts super often, but I think it's such a I don't know, it can be such a big advantage for brands to use.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I don't really use YouTube Shorts, but it has been so crazy to see how popular it has gotten. Because I mean, I was a little bit skeptical when they first announced it, because of course, we already have so much short form content. But I think it's especially beneficial for brands, creators, businesses that are heavily in the YouTube space, because YouTube Shorts provides them that avenue to bring in those new eyes that they maybe wouldn't normally see, off of their, long form content. And I also think that because, Google is making an effort to have a little bit better of a creator program, I think that that's also why it's seen such a success, because, it can be monetized more.
100%. And I think it's, again, gonna be one of those things where over time, obviously so many people are already using it, but I think it's that, adoption of it, whereas we're so used to YouTube as a platform, we're comfortable with it, and then Shorts is kind of this new addition, which is, works in the same way as TikTok and Reels, but we might not go there first. But I think it's going to be such a good, I don't know, way to promote your brand, especially for those that are YouTube heavy. Okay, what else? I guess we haven't really talked about Instagram specifically too.
Yeah. We can talk about collabs on Instagram. They just added recently they added the feature that you can collaborate with more than one user, which I'm super happy about. I think that that's been needed for so long, because I mean, especially like if you were thinking in terms of like giveaways or like collaborations with more than one person, before you could only choose one, which wasn't necessarily fair or made much sense. So I think it's great that they finally like made it more accessible for people to collaborate on like a bigger scale as opposed to just one-to-one.
Definitely. Okay. Shall we open it up to questions and going over FAQs about Metricool? If anyone has any questions about updates to social media or FAQs about Metricool, just drop them in the chat. Alex, do you have a list of common FAQs for Metricool, or?
Yeah, I can go through some of them. So the one that we get the most often is about trending sounds. So we answer this pretty frequently. So with trending sounds, it's actually a limitation that we have via the platform APIs. So this isn't something that we necessarily can control, and that's why we can't really give an ETA of when it will be available. It's entirely dependent on if they want to open that up for third-party platforms. So that's why we kind of have like a vague answer when we get asked about trending sounds. We do have a couple of workarounds that we've found really helpful. So in terms of trending sounds on Instagram, what you can do is when you're scheduling to Metrocool, you can either add in the sound already. So, edit it in CapCut or whatever your preferred editor is and add in that sound. And a lot of times when you schedule it out, Instagram is going to detect the sound and add it to the library, which is super convenient because then you don't have to do anything and it does get added to that sound page. It works most of the time. The only thing that you need to kind of be careful of is if you're using like a straight, song, it can mess with copyright. So that's one thing that you need to look out for. And then sometimes if the sound is more of a trendy sound, it might not have a sound page dedicated to it just yet on Instagram. But for the most part, I've seen that most of the time it will recognize the audio and it'll be added to the page usually within a few hours, but sometimes it'll take a few days. But that's one way that you can work around the trending sounds, or you can also utilize our push notification features if you prefer to control it a little bit more, in which case, you upload your video to the planner, and then you can set that push notification up so that you can add in that trending sound and any finishing touches manually.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's one of them. I was reading the comment.
A lot of people, yeah.
Oh, I was just putting this one up about save text. Yeah, it's something that we have been getting a lot. We've been getting asked this a lot, especially because, previously when hashtag bundles were a little bit more popular, people were always asking if they could save those somewhere so they didn't have to type out, 30 hashtags or 10 hashtags every single time. So we're super excited to be able to roll out the save text feature, and we should see some updates with it coming hopefully in the near future as well.
Amazing. A lot of people have been asking us about a Threads integration as well, which at this time we don't have any update just because of Meta's API limitations and since it's such a new platform. So we don't have any information, and I don't think any other, social media tools have any other information or access either. So as soon as, we have information or we have access, we will make sure to update you all, and I'm sure we'll get on that as well.
Yeah, and we release new features every month, so it's always a priority for us to try to get what everyone is asking for. So when we can have any new information about it, we'll be sure to update it on all of our socials as well.
Yeah. What other common questions do we get, Alex?
Another common question that we get is if we have the ability to schedule to the YouTube community page, and we don't have that ability yet. You can, connect your YouTube account to Metricool, and you can schedule your long form videos and your shorts, but we don't have YouTube community access just yet, hopefully in the future. But yes, that is another limitation that we do have.
Mm-hmm. And also tackling the Mastodon, Discord, Substack, we don't have any access to those as well. But I'm not sure how the future will look with that, especially if more platforms join the Fediverse, the new kind of structure of that Meta is trying to push towards. So we don't have any plans for that. And yeah, see.
I'll put another question on the screen. So another social media post management platform has some great resources regarding rounding up trending templates and such. Does Metricool have any template roundups? So we actually have free templates that we create ourselves that you can find in our smart links or on our website. We can link to those in the note in the chat feature. But we also have free resources all over our website, from YouTube to different types of webinars, blogs. We update those on a weekly basis, and even with our news blast, that's updated almost daily. So we have a lot of free resources on our website, and I would recommend starting there. You can find pretty much anything you need in terms of social media related content there. But we'll make sure to also drop all of the freebies and templates that we have in the chat.
Amazing.
And then there's also this one. I want to publish Instagram posts, but for it to need manual publishing, so I can add audio from Instagram, but it looks like I can only publish it. Is that right? Okay, I'm not sure if I understood, but So you can manually publish and you can auto publish your Instagram posts and reels. However, in terms of audio, if you want to add like a trending audio, you either need to already have the sound edited in and uploaded like that completely, or you can, upload your video, schedule it out, and then do a push notification, which will be a manual uploading, and then you can add in the trending audio after the fact. And that's just to give you a little bit more control, or if you really want like a specific trending sound. But like we were talking about earlier, there are some workarounds to it. And if you add the sound in previously when you're like editing in your outside editor, most of the time it will still be added to the audio page on Instagram. I hope I answered your question. If I didn't, please, put it in the chat. Okay, I'm going to grab the links to the freebies real quick.
Yeah.
And then I'll put those in the chat.
Perfect. Anything else before we head out? We have a webinar next week, masterclass with Rachel Peterson. We're gonna have another audit series, and this time we're going to focus on TikTok. So last audit series, we focused on Instagram, auditing your Instagram accounts. And then this time we're going to be focusing on TikTok. So that will be next Tuesday. I'm gonna drop the landing page so you can see all the information and you can sign up there, and that will be next Tuesday, so make sure to tune in for that as well. Okay.
And then in the comments right now, I'm dropping our image size guide, our Canva story templates, as well as our CSV. So those will also all be in the chat.
Amazing. Okay, Alex, do you want to share the code before we go?
Wait 1 second. Okay, so those are all the freebies, and then the code. And then if you would like to try any of our premium plans free for 30 days, you can use the code MetriTalks. I'm going to also leave the link to the website so that you can sign up. And this is good for any of our premium plans. So you can find the one that fits and makes the most sense for you, and you can try out all of those premium features. With the premium features, you get things like more AI uses, you get LinkedIn access. If you utilize some of our higher premium plans, you'll even get things like a Zapier integration, Looker Studio connector, things like that. So highly recommend, especially if you are managing so many different brands, the premium features are really helpful.
Amazing. And yes, you can sign up for free at metricool.com. So make sure to create your free account, try out all of our features. And before we head out, I'm going to also just show this QR code if you want to follow us on Instagram. Stay updated with what we're doing. Check out all of our templates, all of the blog content. And we will see you guys next Tuesday. Everyone, have a good weekend. Unless anyone has anything else. But
right. I was adding in the Bitly for the Canva template. I think that should work. Amazing. Someone said it wasn't working, so I added it again. Hopefully that works that time.
Perfect. Okay. Amazing. It's open.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in.